What's up, everybody? I'm Dear Gamer. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're back, and look, you're here because you heard about Elden's Ring. You love Elden's Ring, and you're like, wow, I have 3 months before the game comes out. What am I gonna do to prepare myself to make sure I am in tip-top mental, physical, and spiritually ready to take on Elden's Ring for all of its glory? So last week, or this week per se, we saw the gameplay of Elden's Ring and what to expect. And if you notice, for some people that played the FromSoft game, the Dark Souls games in the past, a lot of it feels and looks similar to something we've played. It's different. There's a lot of new mechanics. All the mechanics have not been unleashed to the public yet, but there's some similarities between the games. So today, what I'm gonna be doing is for the people that haven't played Dark Souls, want to try out Elden's Ring, people that want to kind of get themselves like ready to go before the game comes out, these are 10 ways Dark Souls 3 can help you prepare for Elden's Ring. So my family, without further ado, let's dive in. So before we get started into the game, first thing you want to do is you want to break down how do you want to play the game. There's multiple. One thing I love about this game, there's multiple ways that you can approach the game. There's the magic way, there's a melee way, there's a tank way, there's a strength build, there's a dex build for the faster characters. So like depending on how you like to play games in general and other games that you might have played in your past, you can make that playstyle possible. Also, there's hybrid builds, so take advantage of all the options available to you. So before we get into it, let's just start with the weapon. So what weapon do you want to use? So for me, one weapon I truly like using is I like using the katanas. I'm doing a dex build. I like being fast. Cool thing about that build is you wear light armor, so when I wear light armor I can dodge quickly as well, which will allow me to get in and out of danger. And also I do good damage when I hit with my attack. So for me, I'm kind of like a glass cannon, which kind of makes the gameplay super exciting because I could do good damage, but if I get hit, I'm in trouble. So you want to make sure you're dodging extra good. There's a ton of weapons you can use. There's great swords, there's great dex sword, great strength weapons, there's range weapons. There's all kind of things you can use, and I kind of just show you guys a couple of weapons in the game right now, so you can kind of get familiar with some of the things there. This one I can't use effectively because I don't even put the specs in it, but if I equip with 2 hands, then I can. If you notice on the left hand side, you see a little X, that means I can't one-hand it. So if I'm trying to one-hand it, it's not gonna be as effective as it could be. But if I put 2 hands on it, then I can kind of use it as if I did put all my points into strength. That'll allow me to use this weapon. So kind of going through, I just kind of wanted to show you guys some of the weapons available to you. So one thing you want to do first, which is I always take the approach, is figure out what category of weapon do you want to play first. Once you figured out that category of weapon, then you can start identifying, cool, what are some things I want to do with it. There's all kind of playstyles available to you. Let me just show you guys a couple. For magic, I never really play magic weapons, so I don't really have anything in my presets to show you guys there in that regard. There's weapon arts as well, if you like faster weapons, slower weapons. So there's just a bunch of things you can do. There's claw weapons as well. But first thing you gotta do is set along on what weapon you want to play with. And after you decide what weapon you want to play with, then you want to look at, cool, from that weapon, how do I build my character? So tip number 2, building your character. As far as builds, we don't know how the builds are going to work in this next game, but if it's a Dark Souls game or FromSoft game, there's going to be some kind of builds in it. And some of these attributes might hold, some of them might be different, but the principle is going to be the same. So for the katana I was using earlier, I was using the Chaos Blade. Where is it? I was using the Chaos Blade. I have a bunch of katanas. There we go. And if you look at it, it tells you how many attribute requirement in order to use this. So next thing up, we're going to talk about is how to build your character. So with building your character, you want to look at what kind of weapon you want to use first. A dex weapon, so I want to use dex. So if it tells you over here, you see E for strength, S for dex, which is that middle one in the middle. I'll show you really quick. that I'm talking about here. So this is E, degree, which strength boosts the attack of your weapon, or Dex. So if you want to play all around character, you can. The damage output is not going to be the greatest or optimal. If you want to optimize it, you really want to stick to one class where it's like you spending your points on strength or you're spending your points on Dex. So essentially, I chose to spend my points on Dex. So this weapon gets a S ranking, meaning I get a big boost to my damage when I have a high Dex and I'm using a Dex weapon. So you kind of see how everything wants to like align. You use a Dex weapon, Dex build, Dex gear, light armor, so you can dodge quickly. Everything kind of like falls into line to make you just a powerhouse within the spec, within the character you're trying to build. So don't worry, take some time. This is the fun part of these games. It's just like trying to find the most optimal way to play that's super fun, unique to you, and you're just having a good time switching things out, playing and just seeing what kind of damage you can do. Also, there's a lot to take in on the screen. Just take some time and go through this screen and just kind of see what's here. Next tip is just like kind of just get really familiar with your statuses. Status will tell you is essentially like, what am I spending my points in? What does this do? What does Vigor do? Increases your health. What does Attunement do? What does Endurance do? Spend your time in here, kind of just going through and identify how do you want to spend your points, because every time you kill a monster, you get points. Every time you get points, you can come back, go to the girl in the beginning of the game, you level it up, and you want to make sure the decisions you're making are going to benefit your playstyle. So if I'm just, for example, I'm using the Dex build. I'm not using magic build. I'm not going to spend any points in intelligence or faith at all, because it doesn't benefit my stat at all. I'm going to spend my points in Dex, maybe enough strength to hold the weapon I want to use, vitality, endurance, and vigor. But this increases my health, my endurance is important, and my defense. So that's kind of where you want to spend your point and kind of get the mentality around like building your character effectively based on what your playstyles are. So don't worry, this video is a jumping off point. It's a jumping off point to kind of help you explore more things and more ways to play. So I'm not going to necessarily go over every single thing, but just some things to kind of keep your eyes, like make your eyes a little sharper and your ears a little more honed in terms of like what makes sense for your playstyle. From this point on, you want to go watch some videos around like Dex build, optimal Dex builds, optimal strength builds, magic builds, those things that kind of get you going, so you can see how other creators have like customized and crafted some builds. The next thing we want to talk about is my favorite thing of all, and it is combat. Combat is important because that's the #1 thing you're doing in this game a lot of the times. You're doing combat, you're exploring, you're having fun, you're fighting bosses. So combat, there's a lot of things you can do. There's combat arts, there's regular heavy light attacks, there's heavy attacks. You want to know your timing. Get your timing down. So identify how long it takes for me to strike, how long it takes for me to cover, how much stamina am I using. You don't want to use all your stamina, because if you use all your stamina, you're going to be in a situation where you can't dodge. See this? And now at that moment right there, a boss could have hit me, an enemy could have hit me. So one, don't thirst your stamina. Preserve enough stamina to the point where you go 1, 2, 3, I could dodge. You see how much I needed to dodge? Just a tiny bit. So keep that, dodge. Save that a little bit, don't hit again. That way I can get myself out of trouble. And that makes sense for my build because I'm a Dex build. I don't have any kind of armor or shield that can withstand my hits. So my biggest defense is just dodging. Dodging quickly, because this game has fantastic iframes in terms of like dodging attacks. You get a lot amazing frames on your dodges. So for me, it's very important for me to maintain my stamina. So in combat is 1, know your timing. 1, how much time do I need? How much stamina is it taking? Some people might be like, but DG, you do more damage when you hold up with 2 hands. And this is true. But the thing about it is how much stamina am I using? So 1, 2, 3, 4, and I can dodge, right? So let's get that's 4 with 2 hands and I can dodge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I could dodge, so I get 5 hits in. So is it more damage when doing one hit? I like one-handed weapons because it allows me to keep more stamina, more important than attacking one like this. Next thing I want to talk about is your hidden art. So a lot of weapons have, essentially every weapon has a hidden art. That's this one has Aya Slash for the katana. Also too, it has a parry you can use in case you want to do that. So it has a parry you can use and the slash. And if you notice, it uses some of your spirit points, and you can refill that by hitting one of these. Also too, optimize your builds as well. So for me, I am a melee. I'm not use magic, so I keep only 3 of these so I can refill enough of my spirit gauge. And I just optimizing myself for my playstyle. And I know this is Dark Souls. A lot of people are gonna be, wait, DG, this is an Elden Ring. I know, I understand that, but a lot of the principles always carry over in a lot of their games. So I really want to just kind of help you guys understand the formula in terms of how FromSoft makes their games. So combat is truly important. Spend a lot of your time just kind of getting familiar with your attacks and all the things you can do. If you do a kick, you can kick down shields. We have to wait and see what happens there. But most importantly, it's very important just to master your combat in any game you're playing. That way you can have a better time and do some like crispy combos and stuff. What you want to do in the Dark Souls game is you want to explore. Explore, 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 explore. Because that is how you're gonna find a lot of secret items, a lot of things in this game. In this game, they don't really walk you through like some things in the game as far as how to get things specific. There's not that many like, oh, item here. They shine a little bit, but you want to spend some time just kind of going around every nook and cranny, because you never know what you're gonna find. A lot of times you can find some good weapons, some good armors. So all in all, what I want you guys to do is just take your time in exploring. The next game is gonna be a massive open world, so there's gonna be a lot of areas to explore. And trust me, that's where we're gonna spend a lot of our time, because we know we're gonna get a lot of goodies from exploring, finding hidden bosses, taking those bosses down. They're gonna be super strong. That's how you're gonna find a lot of your loot. So when you're playing the game, when you're playing this game, explore and just build a habit of doing that when you get to Elden Ring, so you can just find all kind of cool things early. Because in these games, a lot of times there's a lot of really sweet armor and weapons that you can find earlier, but just by exploring. So the story is very, very different. And if it's anything like Dark Souls 3, we don't just come out and tell you the story. You kind of gotta like read things a couple of times and just kind of explore. There's a lot of texture and literature in this game, so spend some time kind of going through and reading when you encounter things. Oh, what is this? Okay, read a couple of times, because these games, they don't really tell you the story. They don't hold your hand. And the next one is written by J.R. Martin, the dude that did Game of Thrones. So I'm expecting some spectacular story. I mean, I'm just kind of like excited because I love Game of Thrones. Was a good time, regardless of the ending. So we have to wait and see, are they gonna give us a story that we have to kind of search forward, or is it gonna be a lot more forward compared to what we experienced in the past? So it's just to warn you guys, if it's not up in your face, you might, like example, like say I listen to him, I talk to him, what are you talking about? Take your time talking to all the NPCs. Next thing I want to say is talk to NPCs multiple times, because sometimes they change their literature based on how many times you talk to them. They tell you a little about their story, and that's how you have to get like immersed into the gameplay. So one, it's a lot about taking down bosses, but as you start doing like secret missions for some NPCs, you start seeing the relationship between like some bosses or some areas. So one, just take your time a couple of times, read through the NPC chat a couple of times, so you make sure you like really grasp everything. Because this is a heavy combat based game as well, the last couple of tips are going to be kind of centered around it. One, just dodge. If you're in trouble, just dodge, because I said earlier, their frames are amazing in this game. So if you get in trouble, you get jumped by a bunch of enemies, just dodge, and a lot of times you'll be able to go through the attack. I got an item that kind of makes me invisible when I dodge. I think it was cool. They hit me right there because John's low too early. It's all about timing. Just dodge most of the time. So you got a couple of strategies. You can either just dodge, or what you could do is, I'll just put this on for demonstration purposes, you can just kind of tank your way through things. Let me see, let me put a shield on. So put a shield on and just like protect yourself. So see, if you notice, it barely did anything. Boom, get my hit, slow and steady. You can play the aggressive route, dodging everywhere, or you can put a shield on and be slow and steady. There's no shame in no Blaze game play style. Just do whatever makes you feel comfortable and allows you to get through the game and have a good time. Look at this. Barely does anything here. Okay, beautiful. Just allows you to take your time. The shield on, so just dodge or just tank through everything. The next thing that you're gonna learn playing this game the hard way, and it's okay, we all learn this lesson together, is don't get greedy. A lot of times you try to go after that extra hit, you lose your stamina, the enemy, the monster, the boss comes to just wreck you. So what you want to do is just take your time. Sometimes just getting one hit, move back, let him do his move, get in there. Because if you notice, when you attack the enemy, it staggers them, which is good. So you want to just take your time. Because a lot of time people get killed because they get greedy. So sometimes it's easy. Take a couple of those, move. Don't worry. Oh, we see how much damage he does? See? Ooh. Boom. Or you can end it with a backstab too. So Dark Souls is a great game to tell you, like, you don't want to button mash and start going crazy. Just take your time, don't get greedy. And I'm sure that's gonna be the same thing in Elden Ring. Slow down, take your time, don't get greedy. And some of you guys might notice this one. When you get to play PvP in online, there's a bunch of people that like to, you know, after they destroy you, point down. And sometimes that's where the good old saying came from. How do I beat this boss? Get good. How do I beat this person? Get good. And just don't let that discourage you. It's okay. And these games are meant to be, they're not meant to be like ran through. They're meant to be played with time and caution and preparation. So just take your time and don't worry, you will get good. Repetition is the father of learning. Every expert was once a beginner. So take your time, slow down, and you shall get good over some time. You start to get your gear together, you get your build together, you get your playstyle together, you know your weapon, you know the monster's moveset, the enemies, the boss's moveset, and just take your time. Because it'll all come together in the end. So this was my 10 tips of my gameplay tips that'll help you when Elden Ring comes out. Apply these tips to Elden Ring, any game that you're playing that you might find challenging, and I'm confident that you'll find success. So when Elden Ring comes out, we're gonna have a bunch of guides and videos and all kind of things, so be ready for that. But ladies and gentlemen, before you leave, make sure you subscribe, give the video a thumbs up. It supports me a lot, as we're just excited. I'm doing a playthrough of Dark Souls 3 just to prepare myself and prepare the community for Elden's Ring, so look out for that as well. My family, stay smooth till next time. Dear Gamer, signing out.